You are listening to the Mark Lesko podcast, a podcast by diehard fans for fans. Mark covers all things Penn State football and the Pittsburgh Steelers, as well as anything related to the sports and fitness world. Tune in weekly to listen to a couple of dedicated fans talk about these topics without filters. Thank you for listening to the Mark Lesko podcast.
What's up, Yinzers? Welcome to the Mark Lesko podcast. I'm your host, J Rod, and this is Black and Gold Mondays. Well, we did win the series against the Red Sox, but we completely botched the series with the Marlins, which makes us currently 61-65 with 36 games left in the season. I have entitled this episode, Is It Possible? And the answer is mathematically yes. Obviously, we're only 6.5 games out of a wild card spot. But it is the last wild card spot that we have any chance of getting. It is my complete understanding that the Cubs and the Phillies have wrapped it up, pretty much. I think that if I'm right about this, the Diamondbacks and the Phillies have almost the same record, but I don't expect the Phillies to fall off. And I don't expect the Diamondbacks to fall off necessarily either, but I'm saying of the two teams, with the news of Nolan Arenado with the Diamondbacks, it seems like that's the chance to kind of, take it to that team and or try to catch that team. So as of right now, the Chicago Cubs and the Phillies, I think they've wrapped up their wild card spots. We have no chance at the division. We have no chance at those other two wild card spots. So it's only the final wild card spot that you have, which right now, if you see this, we are right now looking at the San Diego Padres at 67-58, Arizona Diamondbacks at 66-59, Miami Marlins 64-61, and the St. Louis Cardinals 63-61. Yes, we're 4 games under 500. Everybody else has a winning record. I totally understand how this does not seem possible. However, if you really strip it down and see what these teams are made of, I think there is a path to the wild card. But this is it. This pretty much will begin it all for the rest of the season. Your next 2 weeks pretty much tell you what you're going to be seeing. Now, there is a great chance that the Marlins and the Cardinals can fall off. There is a great possibility because their divisions between the Central, I know the Cardinals face us, the Cubs, and the Brewers at least 2 more times. I know we faced the Cardinals 2 more times. So there's a possibility of the Central being able to take advantage of that. Let's see here. Hey, Tanks, how you doing, dude? Answer to the title of the video is not responding. Sounding no. Team has BPD. Off the meds, on the meds, no consistency, no backbone, hashtag no. Now listen, Tank, you, my man, are first time to my show, and I appreciate you being on here, and I totally understand where you are coming from, sir. I don't disagree with pretty much anything that has shown this whole season that the Pirates have any ability to sustain that. However, I did just hear the news that O'Neal Cruz has been cleared to return to the team. He is back. But I did also see that he is not in the lineup. So I don't know what to make of that, where it's like you did take him off of the IL, but you don't have him in the lineup tonight. So obviously they're going to probably use him as a pinch hitting role tonight. That's really what it goes down. But like I said, the Miami Marlins, they still have the teams like the Braves and the Phillies to deal with still. I know they at least faced those guys 1 or 2 more times themselves. So their divisions can knock them out. When we play that team, the Cardinals, we just have to either win the series or whatever. There is an option. There is a chance for you to do something. It is absolutely possible for both the Cardinals and the Marlins to be eliminated. So at the end of this week, it's quite possible that we could jump both of those teams by the end of this week. It's very possible. But yeah, we have to go on a 5 out of 6 run at least. But we'll get to our schedule a little later in the show. which leaves the two NL West teams. Yes, I did do the math on this, and it seems like, let's see. Tank says, can they get hot? Yes, but the pitching cannot drastically improve to a championship consistently. Pirates would have to score 15 runs every game. I mean, that does sound like that would be unrealistic, 15 runs a game. I know the offense was one of the best things about this team in the first half of the season. Naturally, when they went, into the second half after the All-Star, it all went away. It's just amazing how things just miraculously go away for this team when it matters the most. It does seem like I'm just simply saying mathematically we're trying to do this. I know we are talking about this organization. I know what I've been dealing with for the past, I want to say realistically how they've been handling their business. I'm not saying it's happened even since Nutting, but it has felt like in the last 25 years easily, ever since PNC Park had opened, I feel like this organization has done everything it can to be penny pinching, to not make the playoffs, to not be competitive. I have that kind of feeling that it has been that way. Now, can things like come together? Like we saw the wild card years in 2013, 14, and 15. They did have the ability to sustain it. And we were able to buy and get better talent. We did. But that was that stretch. Like we've only seen one real stretch in the last 25 years, and it hasn't been that way in the last decade. We have had one winning season, and we did buy that year, but that was the whole Chris Archer epic fail debacle. We all know what happened at that trade deadline, and everyone still pounds the table on that one. But this, again, thinking about the next couple of weeks for this team with the Padres, we do face the Padres next week. This pretty much does tell you a lot. If the Padres, if we look at their schedule right now, let's see, San Diego. Let's see here. If I see what their schedule is, they face the Mets this week, and they take on the Twins, and then they face us. Now, both series are 3 games, and they play us 3 games. So they play the Twins and the Mets. Could they have a 500 record? It's, again, that even if they were to go 500 in this week, they would still be 2 games over 500, which means then we would have to sweep the Padres when that happens. That's pretty much what you're looking at. If you're trying to actually put yourself in the best place to get on the wild card run and see if you can. Again, there's no reason why, after all that they have done this season, that they can't do everything they can not to make a push. They have kind of just been tiptoeing back and forth this whole season. I know, Tank, you absolutely have a great point about they have never gone on more than a 5-game winning streak. It is abysmal to think this could be possible. But, again, we do get Connor Griffin back. We do get Connor Griffin back in September. Now, is it the first week? I'm crossing my fingers, but I'm not hearing any updates. I don't know if the guy's going to even be, returning, or if they're trying to push him to be medically cleared for that time. But at the earliest, we will see him in 3 weeks. So can we, right the ship for 3 weeks? Listen, if we're talking about the largest winning streak we've gone on is 5 games this year, then that's what you kind of have to want. In sense, like, then fine, win 5 games, lose 1. Win 5 games, lose 1. That would be a 10-2 record these next 2 weeks. If you can pull that off right now, that's really what you're realistically looking at. If the Pittsburgh Pirates can do nothing less than 9-3, I'm going to tell you that. That's the thing. I know 10-2 sounds ludicrous, but 9-3, if you're talking about trying to keep in this hunt, if the Pirates can go 9-3 in these next 4 series, they still mathematically have a chance to keep themselves in this race. I'm absolutely being very unrealistic. I know that. But yes, 9-3 would mean you have to sweep one of these next 4 series, and you can only lose a game in each of the next 3. So, you have to win every series, and you have to sweep at least 1. That is what you're looking at minimum if you're trying to keep in this. And yes, I know that these next couple of series is going to be rough, but yes, like I said, we'll get to them in a sec. But if you're talking about trying to stay in it, yes. There is right now, for me personally, it's 70-30. No. I'm a realist myself, Tank, so I would like to think that this team is not going to make the playoffs because, again, Paul Skeens right now has his issues with his arm. They say it's some sort of fatigue. It's not an injury, but it's fatigue. So, I mean, what is that? Like a fancy medical, skating? I don't know really what else you would call that, but that just is so bizarre that they say it's not an injury, but it's fatigue. Okay. But yeah, that's what their explanation is. So most likely they could be shutting Paul Skeens down for, the next month. Maybe they even shut him down for the rest of the year. But he doesn't look like he's in it. Mitch Keller is gone for the rest of the season. You're running out of starting pitching options because you gave up Jose Urquidy, and I think he's right now with a minor league deal with the White Sox or something like that. You definitely have done everything you can to not be competitive. This right here is the absolute truth with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Again, I don't want to say this because, again, I've been waiting for a freaking playoff push for a long time. When we had the playoff pushes, someone once told me way before it happened. I remember I was in college in the late 2000s, early 2010s at Penn State, and I had a fellow classmate one time. We were talking about sports. He was also a Pittsburgh fan, and I said to him, it was like 2010 or 11, that the Pittsburgh Pirates are finally going to change their luck around. They're finally going to end the losing streaks, and he just laughed in my face. And everybody else, of course, agrees with that because you just never, ever assume that Pittsburgh is going to be a competitive team. It's almost like when you watch a team like the Tigers show up out of nowhere, or the Royals show up out of nowhere, or the Angels maybe somehow. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you would never think a team like that is going to make some sort of run or be competitive. But, yeah, we were at one point the best offensive team in baseball, one of them, and we just kept blowing saves. And then by the All-Star break when it came back, the left-handed issue was always exposed. Again, we talk about all the issues that they never address. They didn't address left-handed hitting. They didn't get a left-handed pitcher to start the season. We have nothing but righties. What else do you expect? A team that doesn't know how to hit lefties because you don't have a lefty starter. So how are you expecting to know how to hit left-handed starters if you don't have one in your rotation? So it kind of shackled. They put themselves in this position every single time. It tells you every time that Ben Cherington, the GM, the president, even the owner, everybody it's never going to be anything relevant. I know that I'm on this podcast. I love my team dearly, but we don't have a say as to how this organization runs itself. And it's like basically everyone knows how to do this job except the guys who haven't. It just seems like we have no chance to get rid of this problem. And everyone, of course, is talking about the lockout next year. I've been bringing it up since last year about the lockout and its inevitability. And we're talking about maybe getting a floor and a cap. And yes, that should fix our problems in terms of being competitive. But it has to be put through first. And we're going to probably miss the entire 2027 season simply because, we can't come to an agreement beforehand. It's not completely, naysaying, but you don't feel like there's any baseball happening next year at all. Like you talk, maybe best case scenario, we have half a season, but this lockout is inevitable. It needs to be put through the salary cap system, the floor and the ceiling. Everything needs to be implemented into the MLB. It's time. Every other sport has it, and we need to join the 21st century. We just need to do that. But as of right now, the 2026 season is not mathematically dead. I'm saying there is a 30% chance this happens. It really will come down to the California trip next week, but that's right now what we're about to get into. And yes, there is a possibility, but it's very low. All right, guys, we're moving on to the next topic, which is our schedule. So this week, we are taking on the Detroit Tigers at home, and then we face the Dodgers in Los Angeles. Again, everything pretty much comes down to the California trip. If this team has any chance to win and be competitive. Now, of course, I did just see, let's see, 60% of the time works every time. Yeah, I appreciate it, Tags. Yes, that right here is just it. Again, it all comes down to California. I'm not saying that we don't sleep on the Tigers because, again, if you look at how unfair this world is, you look at the American League. The Tigers are 2 games under 500, and they are just a game out of their wild card. The entire American League is just completely tanked. It's like there's only 4 or 5 teams total that have good records. Everyone else is losing, and I think, am I right about this? The Orioles have the last wild card at 61 and 63. It's just like, this is just ludicrous. No, the Tigers are 60 and 64. Yes. Let's see. Smells like straight gasoline. Yeah, I know. Believe me, but it's all in the water. We all know how bad it has always been. But again, it's always because of Nutting. It's always because of Williams. It's always because of Charrington. They just don't want to be competitive. Now, they go out and get guys. That does not mean they're trying to be competitive. That's them trying to throw, the blanket over the fire. Like, they're trying to, spray get rid of the smell of gas or fire. Like, they're trying to cover it up. They're just trying, but the fire is still lit. They still have it going, and eventually it all gets, taken over, and the flame is the big thing all over again. I believe me, I've understood how this organization has been run for quite some time. But no, I think that this week's series has every chance to be in it still. We still have one more week to have a chance to at least feel like we are going to do something. Now, again, the Tigers, if I'm right about this, they have a pretty strong offense. I think their run differential is very high, but I think their pitching has completely fallen off. So having guys like Cruz and, I think we saw Johan Ramirez is back in the bullpen. So we're all set bullpen-wise to make a push. It's just really, will the offense start clicking? Guys like Lau, Reynolds, please, all of you, wake up out of your comas and start hitting the ball. And yes, there is still a possibility that Ryan O'Hearn comes back for the season. They didn't say he was out for the rest of the year, but when he comes back, I think they said at minimum there's 2 weeks left in the season when he is able to return. So, yes, like I said, and Griffin could be cleared to play by the first week of September. It's very possible that we still have a chance. But, yes, the other players have to step it up. Jake Mangum needs to start doing what he's been doing this whole season, get back to that. Esmeralyn Valdez needs to start hitting homers again. He needs to find that magic again. The only other players I would say that need to start giving a little more spark, probably guys, and again, I just saw we brought up Nick York again, and he had a big day yesterday to keep the Pirates winning the game against the Red Sox. So he was a big contributor, but Nick York was a former Red Sox, if I'm right about this. So he had known his team. This right here seems like we have still a chance against a team like the Tigers, who are, again, we can still find the good offense again. There's still time. We still have a month and a half left. I'm not saying that it's just complete doom and gloom, but yes, I am starting to go towards what Tank is saying. He definitely has it understood that, again, this is just a dumpster fire of a team. We just don't want to be competitive. It's up to the players now. It's up to Don Kelly. Again, I don't know how much of an influence that Don Kelly has on the decision-making for this team. I'm not saying the guy doesn't have a voice, but it doesn't sound like his is as loud as Ben Cherington. So when Ben Cherington does what he does and Don Kelly has to follow suit, this poor guy is shackled. I just don't know how this guy is able to overcome it all, but all the decisions come from upstairs. And that's what they really wanted. They just wanted a manager who was going to be a yes man for them. And yeah, again, everything just spells that they are not going to try, but there's still that opportunity. So do I say that the Tigers series is a chance to get swept? I know Majinski is pitching tonight, but that could be necessarily a bullpen game. And I know that Jones went Saturday, and I think that would mean that Chandler went on Friday night. I think that was how that works. So I think we could very well. And I know that Skeens is pitching on Wednesday. That they moved his start back to Wednesday for now. So that would mean either Ashcraft is pitching tomorrow, and then it's Skeens on Wednesday. It's Majinski tonight and Ashcraft and Skeens for this series. So that if that's how that works, then yeah, that's a winnable series right there. 2 out of 3 could be very attainable. But then they have the day off, go to the West Coast, and face the Dodgers Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night. And I also know that the Dodgers' rotation works out that their best pitchers are pitching against us. Yamamoto is pitching Friday, and I think Skubal's on Saturday, and Snell is on Sunday. Yes, I saw that. It's just basically murderer's row for 1, 2, 3. Again, we are going to have to pitch our asses off, and we're going to have to be the best versions of our pitching staff. I don't really know what to expect from that one. I will say again, the whole stretch, okay, guys, this is how I broke it down. I did do the math on this. It's from the previous one. I forgot to mention this. If the Padres and the Diamondbacks respectfully go 19-17 and 19-18 record-wise, if we finish the season on a 26-10 run, please hold it back. I understand. I said it. It's not doable. I understand. I'm just saying that's the record that it has to go 26-10 for us. They basically have to go 500 the rest of the season. The magic number to clinch that final wild card, I'm going to say, is 87. So we can very well have a shot. Again, I'm just saying if you're talking about the best winning streaks that the Pirates have had is 5, like I said, win 5, lose 1, win 5, lose 1. I'm not saying that's impossible, but after the California trip, our schedule goes down immensely. I think we have like 2 or 3 series maybe for the rest of the year that really favor the other team in that sense. Like they are a much more complete team than us, and everybody else we're even with. I know that it's like the Giants and the Athletics and things of that. I know it's not the Athletics, but I'm saying it's teams like that. I think the Angels come to town. We're facing much shorter, not competitive teams. Georgie has always gifted me with a podcast membership. You're awesome, man. Thank you so much. But yeah, guys, you got to have a little bit of faith. Every baseball season, if you're still mathematically in it, again, that's why you always got to reserve a little bit of chance. Like, again, the smallest I ever give any of my teams, which is my Pittsburgh team in Penn State, I always give it at least 75-25. If it's like the whole season, 3/4 of the way is doomed, I'm always going to leave 1/4 of it, no less than saying we still have a chance. Again, we have these pieces coming back. It's just a question of will they use them correctly? Will they put themselves in that best position? Again, we don't know how this season's going to end. We can't make the prediction. It would certainly be the best, biggest surprise. And I'm saying until I am proven wrong, I will hold off on it. So it's going to be an interesting end of the season, guys. So hold on to the side of the ship and see if they can get to that playoff island. All right, guys, we are making the flip to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's just flip this over. All right, Steelers, guys. Now, again, on my show just Saturday on J-Rod Knows Football, we were going into deep analysis on the quarterbacks. We were going on to the most big talked about subjects of the first game with the Packers and how we just have so much to gush over with these quarterbacks, with the play calling. The middle of the field is open again, guys. Please rejoice evermore that the Steelers remembered where the middle of the field was. It wasn't some, island of misfit, field. Like, that's really what it was. It just seems like they never wanted to go there because, nothing was, they couldn't see it. It was like a mirage to them. And it's like Mike McCarthy finally put on his goggles and he could see clear as day there is the middle of the field. And they found it many, many times over. Yes, it was glorious. It was wonderful to see this team finally know where that is and to know that they can use it. And it was very effective. Oh, guys, I mean, between Mason Rudolph and Will Howard and, of course, Mr. Drew Aller, this team has a very, very fun question at hand. And unfortunately, for one guy in particular, it's not that fun. Because I said if Drew Aller balled out, did some spectacular things, even with the strings, the third string for it, all them guys at the bottom of the 53-man potential roster for the Packers, if he did something spectacular, Mason Rudolph could very well be out of a job by the preseason's end. And that happened. So I'm very curious. Is the depth now Aaron Rodgers is our starter, Will Howard is our second, and Drew is third, or maybe we switch it around? Again, I think that what really was telling about Will Howard and Drew, or Will Howard, Drew Aller, is that Will definitely relied on, is it Tonyan? Is that guy's last name? Tynnan. I think it's how you say it. Tonnyan. The one, I think it's a tight end, or it's a wide receiver or tight end, that he just kept going to him in that last drive, and he was always picking up the yardage for Will. I'm not saying it's a one and done thing for one player, but it seemed like every time I saw big chunks of the plays for Howard, this player was the guy. So he has a reliable player for him, but Drew really showed a lot of different routes, again, with Wetchen and Nowakowski. He was really opening up the field. And again, watching Will throw, yes, he can make the big throws down the field, but I think his biggest reception was 17 yards. So yeah, it's nice to see he can get that far down. But Drew just, I don't know. I'm not saying that the happy feet are still there, but I really did like how Drew handled himself. Like, I think we've always expected Will Howard to look like he did. Drew did not look like this in any way, shape, or form. That's where I think you're seeing that Will Howard is still Will Howard. Drew is a different Drew, for sure. He is absolutely the best version of himself with that particular half. When you look back on that half, he could not have been any better than what he was from what we remember him from his last year at Penn State. This right here is a very interesting situation, because I'm not saying the guy's already going to claim the backup spot, but I will be wondering how they're going to handle this next game against the Jets. Again, I brought them up in my other show, but we're just seeing right now the mechanics go right. Everybody is overall looking like the best version of themselves. It was a very good showing. Again, we have so much to be excited about, so I'm really looking forward to what they have this season. All right, now my last topic for the Steelers, guys, and my last topic for today. Now, we did see that, again, I brought it up in my last show, that Keanu Benton got a 4-year, $72 million deal. He will be our linebacker. He'll be a defensive tackle for the Steelers. It sounds like he is ready to learn from Cam and be the next version of Cam, with Derek Harmon potentially leading the charge with both of them. There's a lot of potential for that line to be very solid. But naturally, this also opens up the question of JPJ. And like I said, of course, Asante Samuel Jr. had the best game he could have had to show he is a very reliable back, and he is obvious that he can handle his position. And he definitely looked very flashy. But again, preseason, you never know really what you're basing it off of. But I very much liked that we were trying to solidify the line again, but with Asante Samuel being the replacement for JPJ, yes, I did see the other news that was, is it Devin Weatherspoon? Is that his first name? I think that is for the Seahawks. He's the cornerback that basically is a top 10, top 5 cornerback, and he just got a massive deal. Was it 4 years, $132 million, 101 guaranteed? Really need to get on a quarterback position. I mean, that's unbelievable. The guaranteed money is insane for the NFL right now. They're just giving it away. But no, he's a very, very talented cornerback. So obviously a guy like Weatherspoon puts a lot of pressure on the Steelers and JPJ. I mean, again, we're only just 3 weeks away from the regular season. So are they going to get this deal done in time? I really don't know what to make of it, but again, I know that Witherspoon and, you put JPJ and him together. I think he had 6 receptions or something throughout the whole season, and JPJ had nothing, like no touchdown receptions. I think on Witherspoon it was 6 touchdowns the whole season, which again, that's pretty fantastic. But JPJ being in the league now, this will be his 3rd full year in the NFL. I don't know how much more cap they have, but it does seem like that money is pretty much being dispersed around everybody else. And yes, I think that it's not the best situation to the Steelers to put themselves in, because knowing that JPJ has done his duty in terms of he has always had the numbers to say he is worth whatever money they want to give him. But if he's asking for more, if he thinks he can find a deal elsewhere that anyone can, like any team that is competitive, that doesn't already use up all their cap space, where is he going to go? Is he going to try to go somewhere like, Dallas maybe? Another team, maybe the I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think of like teams that have a lot of cap space and they could, maybe the Patriots. I don't have a darn clue about it, but I mean, JPJ needs to stay in Pittsburgh. Let's see. I think they find a way to sign JPJ. I really hope you're right, George, because I don't see how else they can really address how the plan going forward. Again, Santi Samuel Jr. looks great. He knows how to play the position. But yes, I don't see how you can justify ASJ to go against JPJ and have it be like, oh, they're worth the same amount of money. Again, JPJ has done everything he's supposed to, and he should have that deal. So, yeah, this is a pretty sticky situation I think the Steelers have put themselves in, because, yeah, we're getting closer to the regular season, and if they get this deal through and we have JPJ locked down for, I'll be realistic about this. I'll say 5 years, $135 million. That would be $35 million a year. I don't think that would be completely ludicrous. I mean, or $25 million a year. Yeah, I don't think that would be completely ludicrous. So, I mean, but I'm sure JPJ thinks he is way more worth that. But again, if we're talking $30 million a year and he wants to push that, again, 5 years, well, hold on. I can't do math. So 5 years and $30 million would be 130. Yes. 150 million. Yeah. But that's like, I don't see them going any higher than 25 million a year. So yeah, 5 times 25, 125. Yeah. So that would be the deal I give him. A 5-year, 125 million, 90 million guaranteed. I don't think he should have anything more than that. But again, if Witherspoon's getting that much more guaranteed, then obviously then JPJ is going to probably ask for more. And this, it's just a crazy system right now. And again, I don't know how much more the Steelers can possibly give out, but this would be it for sure. There's no way anybody else would be getting a bigger deal or anything else after this. But yeah, if they wrap him up, absolutely, this would be a very scary defense. I think that Patrick Graham has got a lot of great talent, and he's got a lot of good schemes going so far. Again, we only gave up 9 points to Green Bay, and Green Bay is supposed to be a team that's going to be challenging the Lions and the Bears. Again, I don't know about the Vikings this year. I know they've always got good names on their team, but it's always a question of, can they be the best team in the NFC North? That seems like that's their goal. So the fact that we potentially took out the NFC North recipients and only held them 9 points, that means a lot, regardless of if this is just them going through the motions. The fact that we wouldn't let them score a single touchdown, it was always holding to a field goal. That is very important. And a guy like JPJ is going to ensure that, because, again, that's one of the most important positions for the wide receiver to be held accountable. So I think that it's important that they figured this out. Not that, again, a dynamic duo of Dean and Samuel Jr., Asante Samuel Jr., that would not be the worst tangent. But I just hope that it's all figured out. But see, George says maybe if they find a way to add more money with a signing bonus or some other messing with the money. Yeah, I mean, they could talk to, TJ or maybe DK. It's like, you're willing to give up, 5-10 million of your deal we made and just so we can, because they did it with Ben all the time. That's really where it's always, you try to find a way to cut corners and maybe figure out, but I haven't heard any news of them doing that. So until I see something like that, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know. Again, I know that, JPJ, and I know that Joey Porter's had his reputation. I remember he left for Miami, had the money that they gave him. So, I mean, could we see a repeat father and son? I don't know. But I really hope they figure it out. And if they do, guys, this is going to be a fun team to watch. There's no doubt about it. All right, guys, I'm wrapping things up. I really appreciate you coming on. And Tank, awesome to see you, guy. Please come back, and please like and subscribe to Mark Lesko if you haven't already, Tank. And Mr. George, always good seeing you, bud. This was a good episode, guys. I appreciate you coming on with the support. And, hey, Mark Podcast, merchandise and Uplift Pickleball for Austin. Great guy, great product. I know that we have a lot of things to get excited for because, again, football is only 3 weeks away, baby. It is almost here, guys. Get excited. I'm pumped for it. I still believe in the Pirates. You just got to. That's really the whole curse of being a Pirate fan. You always root for them no matter what. Someone has to. So I will see you guys for the next week's episode. Until that time, guys, you enjoy being black and gold.